Okay, there we go. We are officially recording. Okay, welcome everyone to our February learning event. And this month we're focusing on data and analysis. So in the chat, if you can, if you feel like it, let us know what brings you here and what is your role at your office or school. And I'd like to introduce myself, Janine. I'm a research teacher with the computer science team at OSID. And Faith, you want to say hi real quick?
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Faith Ishihara here, also from OSID.
All right. So today, here is our agenda. So Faith, if you could put the agenda link into the chat, thank you very much. Or if anyone else, wants to add the links to the chat to help us out, and you want to put the links in, feel free to help us out. Okay, so here's the agenda for today. It has the schedule, the presentation, what we're doing, the recording links and resource links, and anything else you may need, hopefully. And there's a screenshot of it, what it looks like. Here it is, the live one, if you want to see what it looks like. And I might update it if I find something interesting that we talked about or something I forgot during the webinar. So for today, we would like to ask you, what do you notice about today's date? February 22nd, 2022. Okay, put your answer in the chat. And I'll give you a few moments to think about it and type into the chat. What do you notice about today's date? 02/22/2022. Okay, let me real quickly.
Oh, okay, Mickey says it's made up of only two.
Made up of two numbers.
Yeah.
Only two, or made up of only twos, sorry. Okay. So what we will do as you're typing and thinking is, we notice that in the recording, you cannot see the chat responses. So later on, we'll type the chat responses into this slide presentation so you can see what people were saying. Okay.
Hey Janine.
Yes.
Can I add a little bit about the Tuesday?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. It's often called TWOS, Tuesday, and this year it happens to fall on a Tuesday, and it's a historic day, and it's not gonna come again for another 200 years, in the year 2222. And if you look at the links on the slide, there's some ways to just have fun with numbers, like integrating the number two with art and other activities that you and your students can do. So really fun way to celebrate historic day.
That's right. It is Tuesday also. Thanks for pointing that out. Another two. Okay. So anyway, in the notes on the bottom, Faith mentioned some lessons you could do and some other interesting facts about today and two. So it's an auspicious day today. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll put your responses in the slide later. So back to, what is your favorite graph? I know you have one, right? Because I have a favorite graph, and I'm going to share it with you. So if you don't have a favorite graph, off the top of your head, think of one that you like or stands out to you, okay? Or type it in the chat. So if you have a favorite graph, put it in the chat. Sorry, is somebody saying something? No? Okay. So let me show you my favorite graph. Here we go. So computer science doctorates awarded in the United States correlates with the total revenue generated by arcades. So what does that tell us? Can you put your thoughts into the chat? This is my favorite graph. What are your thoughts on this graph? Because we're on the computer science team for the state, so I think this is so awesome, this graph. What do you think? Any thoughts? Put it into the chat. Faith, what do you think?
Wow, I'm thinking we need more arcades.
Okay, so where I got this from is okay, I'm gonna escape. Okay, so in the notes, I got this from spurious correlations. So I'm a science person, so I know that just because something correlates doesn't mean one is caused by the other. So let me give you an example. The number of people who drowned by falling into a pool correlates with films Nicolas Cage appeared in. Or per capita cheese consumption correlates with the number of people who died by becoming tangled in their bed sheets. Okay. And then, the divorce rate in Maine correlates with the per capita consumption of margarine. So the more the more divorces are, the more people consume margarine. Or maybe the more people consume margarine, the more divorces there are. Okay. Alrighty. So any thoughts in the chat about that? Do you think we'll have more computer science doctorates if we have more arcades?
No.
Well, let me show you Faith's favorite graph here. Okay. Okay, Faith, you want to talk about your favorite graph?
Yeah, and the reason I put it in is Skittles is one of the ways that little ones can start learning to graph and stuff. And I thought this was so interesting because I was wondering about frequency of color, and then I found that graph with the really obvious high frequency in yellow. And then I found another graph. These are graphs that students have made showing red, and I thought, wow, okay, so there are a lot of variations. And something like this could generate lots of good questions, like just how many colors are in the bag, or what color appears the most. What is it always an even distribution? Maybe not. And or even why are they called Skittles? Just researching it is lots of fun, and then trying to graph it is also very interesting and could lead to good discussions.
And in our prize pack that we'll be sending the winner, you will get Skittles in your prize pack. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Faith.
Yeah, so Pam asked like how they divide the colors, right? And then Steve said maybe if students are playing games, they might be interested in computer science. Good
Very good.
connections.
Thank you for thank you
Yeah,
for sharing that in the chat. I can't see it, so thanks for letting me know. And those are some really neat ways to incorporate data into
Mhm.
computer science, and what kids are interested in. And of course, they're interested in candy.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Next. Next slide. Hang on. Okay. Next slide. So here's the data. Here's another graph that we like. Both Faith and I like, our favorite. And some of you may be familiar with this. This is the computer science data dashboard for the Hawaii Department of Education. And it has data. It's not the most updated. It's the most current data we could get, which I think is from last year. Yeah. And it's from Infinite Campus. So it's a number of computer science courses, enrollment, student demographics, longitudinal trends. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to the data dashboard. And if Faith, if you could put that link into the chat so people can click on it, I would like you to, this is what I would like you to do. Go to your complex area. For example, Alita, who is Iea Moanalo Radford, she would click on her complex area, and she would take a look at all the data for her complex area.
Hold
And then
on.
we have Pam. Sorry, you can't see it. It's weird. You can't see it after. So we have Pam here. Steve, what complex area are you? You could find your complex area. I think he's Big Island, right? Sorry, can't see it. Let me go back. Okay. So you can see the different complex areas here. I don't know, Steve, you're either Hila YK or Honoka HKKKKK. So click on yours and just see, what data is available for your complex area. Okay. It's very dense. There's all kinds of, and then you can filter by program. If you're a registrar, I think Steve, you're a registrar, right? You can see middle school courses, CTE courses, general, and so on. Okay. So any questions about that or comments before I move on to the next slide? And while you're thinking about that, just want to share that code.org also has their own national database. So you can pick your state's, Hawaii, for example. You can pick Hawaii, and you can see highlights for Hawaii, okay? Data there too, all kinds of data. Ooh, what is that? Ooh, there we are, Hawaii, right there, okay? Alrighty, so now we're gonna get into the fun part. Okay, the funner part. Of course it was fun earlier, it's just more fun now. Okay, so how many of you have heard of the game Wordle? Wordle. Anybody in the chat? I'm sorry, I can't see the chat, so I don't know. Has anybody played?
Yeah, Steve, what a powerful tool.
He said, what a powerful tool?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
He's familiar.
He said, what a powerful tool?
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking about the sorting thing that we were looking at.
Oh.
I think my wife plays Wordle, if I'm not mistaken, and she's pretty addicted.
All right. Well, let's talk about Wordle. If you don't know what it is, great. You'll know what it is now. And if you don't, if you are familiar with it, we'll share some strategies and how it's related to computer science. All right. So Wordle is a very simple game. I haven't played mine for today, so maybe you can help me play it today. Okay. So you usually there's a information thing above that tells you, but it's really simple. That's why I like it. So you just type in a word. Okay, so I'm just going to type a random word in and enter. And if the letter is in the right place, it'll be this kind of mustard yellow color. And if you have a letter in the right place and the correct letter, it'll be green. So it's telling me R and T are correct, but they're not in the right place. So what if I do, what's a word that has R and T in it? Anybody want to give me a guess that I could guess for the next one?
Treat.
Treat. Okay, but where to use E and A, so we can't use that.
Oh.
I'm going to try this while you're thinking of another word. How about print? Okay, let's enter that. Oh, okay, we got another letter in the right place. So there's an N, but these are all in the wrong place, these yellow ones. So what could be the next word that we could guess? Yeah, and feel free to turn your microphones on. We're a small group here, and I think we all know how to mute and unmute. So you want to just yell it out, because I can't see the chat.
North? I put other, and then I got stuck.
Other. But we need an N in there too.
Oh, just kidding. So I got other and it lit up 4. So
you're playing
there must be an N as well.
Oh, you're playing. Okay. You're playing your own. Okay. Other. Gotta think. Anybody have any guesses here? Okay, I'm gonna do this.
Oh, Mickey guessed north.
She guessed north?
Uh-huh.
She got it right?
No, well, she's just entering a guess.
We'll try north. That's a good one. Interesting. Oh, I get, so they're all in the wrong place.
Yeah, all the right letters, but in the wrong places.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I've been playing this. Ding, 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 ding. We got it.
Yay, thanks, everybody.
Okay, I'm playing on a different computer today, so it tracks your progress. Okay, so this is a different computer. I don't play on this one normally. So this is the first one I played on this computer. I have 100% a streak of one, max streak of one, and it took me 4 tries to guess it. And I could also share it on social media. And then the next Wordle is in 141457. So I had to look that up. Like, what does that mean? What do you think that means? 141452, next one. Anybody know? I'm giving you wait time, but you know what? Since we're short on time, I'll tell you. It's the next word. You only get one a day. So if you played your one today, you have to wait 14 hours to the next one. Okay. So
Yep, Nikki got it. 14 hours, 14 minutes, 45 seconds.
Very good. Okay, so here's an example of just a couple of this is what you would share on social media, and the cool thing about it is you can share what you did without giving the answer away. So this person got 1 letter correct in the wrong place, and 1 letter in the right place, and 2 in the wrong place, and then they solved the word on the 3rd try. And it tells you the time, the date. It was via Twitter. And so this is when I saw this too. It's like Wordle 207, 3 out of 6. What does that mean? I didn't know what that meant. I do now. Do you know what it means? Wordle 207, 3 out of 6. I'm giving you some wait time again.
I'm guessing you got it on your 3rd of 6 tries, and
Exactly.
this is the 207th Wordle.
Very good. Have you played this before, Alita?
No, my husband does.
Okay, so yeah, that's what it means. Number 207, and you got it on 3 out of 6 tries. Very good. Okay, so going to the next slide, here are my statistics, and you can look through this if you have the slide deck. You can see like what my statistics are. Okay, and here's my most recent. This was yesterday. Okay, so do you notice any trends? Just looking at Sunday and Monday, any trends? So I want you to, so we're short on time, but I just kind of wanted you to look at it so you can see that I've played 33 times on Sunday, then 34 times on Monday, and I have a 97% win streak. I only got 1 wrong and it ruined my streak. So then I had to start all over. Okay, so, but here's the other thing. The New York Times bought them out. And so there was like some of the streaks got disrupted. And so the New York Times said they would fix it. So people were like, my streak is ruined, you know, but they said they would fix it. So people are very, you know, they're very attached to their streaks. Okay.
So Janine, Steve mentions in the chat that reminds me of old school game with numbers, Mastermind.
Yes, exactly. That's what they mentioned in one of the articles, that it's just like Mastermind. Exactly. And so why am I bringing up Wordle? Because it's very clever. It's very simple, but there's a huge amount of information and drama packed into that little graph. And the only reason why I started was I saw someone else's on social media, on Facebook, and I was like, what is this yellow? What are these green tiles and yellow tiles? And what are these numbers? So I was like, let me try this out. I was like, oh, I kind of like this. Okay. So, you know, it's a graphically neat synopsis where you can see a lot of information very quickly in a very simple package. And so the person who, I really like the story behind this. It's a good Valentine's Day story. The creator of Wordle, his name is Josh Wardle. Okay, so play on his name. He created this game for his partner because she liked puzzles. So here's a question for you. They started with all the 5-letter words in the English language, which is 12,000 words. And they decided to take up obscure words, and so they narrowed it down to 2,500. So my question for you is, how would you narrow that list of 12,000 down to 2,500? Thinking that we're computer scientists also. And I'm going to ask Faith because Faith's a computer scientist. Faith, how would you do that?
No, I'm not, but I'm thinking some kind of algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, to like take up obscure words or things that I don't know how you would do that, but you could figure it out. Okay, because people get upset when there are words like rebus or taper in there. Like, what word is that? Okay,
because there's a system like that for the license plates on cars, right? To remove certain words, 3-letter words. Yeah.
Exactly. But I was thinking about that you know, they use artificial intelligence for that, right? There's a list and it matches but then people are smart, right? And they kind of find ways around it. So you still need a human being to double check. Yeah.
So Pam is saying might do a frequency test on words that are more commonly used.
Ah, so smart. Exactly, a frequency
Good
test of words that
strategy.
are commonly used. So I just clicked on a link that, yeah, on average, exactly, Pam. So here, on average, 95% of target words can be solved within 6 guesses. And if you start off with these certain words, you can strategize and maybe guess more quickly. So anyway, here's some strategies, and I'm not going to go into big detail, but here is the next one that I want to go into. Okay, wait, hang on, I skipped the slide. Okay, there we go. There's a Hawaiian version, and oh my gosh, this one is so hard, but it's so great because I use my Hawaiian dictionary to look up the words, and there's the okinas and the kahakos, and oh my gosh, so challenging. But it made me think of if I were an ELL student and I didn't know English, this is the same thing. I don't really know Hawaiian, and so I'm trying to figure out the words, and it's kind of frustrating, but I'm learning. So this guy on Maui created a Hawaiian version of Wordle, and he used open source code adapted by a software developer. Okay, so this is computer science again. So try the Hawaiian version if you want a challenge. And so I wanted to just bring this up with you. About graphs, because we're on graphs. So if you have students or you want to just real quickly go through something with students or assign them something related to graphs, I like this little post here because it just gives you some basics. Like, at its most basic, a graph is a group of dots connected by lines. Not always true, but simplified. And Google Maps uses dots and lines to model the road network and give you directions, right? Have you ever thought about how Google Maps gives you directions? How Facebook friend networks are a graph where each person is a dot and the friendships between people are lines. And the internet is a giant graph where web pages are dots and the links between pages are lines. So it talks about graphs. Here's an undirected graph and a directed graph. What do you notice as the difference between the two of them? Undirected and directed. What do you notice? And you can just speak up. We're a small group that knows each other. Do you notice the difference? See the arrows? Physics, vectors. Okay, so anyway, Google Maps wouldn't be very useful if its instructions told you to turn the wrong way down a one-way street. So they use, a directed graph. And here we just go into the different types of graphs. So we're short on time, so I'm not going to go into in detail. But on the next slide, Khan Academy has a great lesson too. And I just want to show you this real quickly. If you wanted to do this with students or, assign it to students or just ask your friends, like you folks are my friends. Okay, look at these trends. Here are the years, here are babies per woman. What do you notice about the trends for women in India who had babies from 1955 to 2015? You can type it in the chat or just shout it out. What do you notice as we get towards the 2000s? Babies per woman. In 1960, if you can't see it, in 1960, there were 5.91 babies per woman. And in 2010, 2.6. So what do you notice about the trend about babies per woman as we get towards the 2000s?
Having less babies.
Less babies, right. And life expectancy from 1920 to 2000, 55 years to 76. Okay, so there's a trend there.
Having less babies helps you live longer.
Do you have any experience with that? Okay, let's test that out. Okay, so anyway, I just want to go over that real quickly and then let you know that computer science, 5 core concepts, and data analysis is one of them. So it's more than just coding. Here's our progression chart just to let you know what the standards are. There's our standards for today, and I'll have Faith go, and here's the secret code to the standards. I'll have Faith go over this one that we went over today.
Sure. So for the little ones, K2, it's good for them to recognize that graphs are really everywhere. And if they could count the numbers of pieces of, the frequency of color of the Skittles, and then graph it in different ways, maybe a bar graph, pie chart, or pictograph or something like that, and just get introduced to the concept of data and analysis.
Thank you. Okay, and here's the middle school one that I chose. Just representing data in multiple ways. So Wordle, you can share it on social media. You have that little graph as when you complete the puzzle. Okay, different ways of representing the same data. Okay, and then identify trends in a data set. So using data analysis tools and techniques to identify patterns. For example, you could look at my Wordle, social media posts and see that Janine is solving every single one or not solving, or she didn't solve yesterday's. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over to Faith now in our last 5 minutes. Understanding data visualizations, our book for today. So,
so each learning event, we share a book that's related to our topic. And this time we're sharing Understanding Data Visualization. This is kind of appropriate for upper L or middle school, maybe. And it talks about, because data is everywhere and graphs are everywhere, the students see it in social media, like the Wordle. And with elections, politicians show it, and it's on their classroom walls and everything else. So this book covers the basic data visualization ideas about pie charts, graphs, and infographics, and what situation would they be best used for. And it also gives a rule of thumb tips for students and teachers too. So we hope you check it out, or any other book of interest to you.
and you can get
And
into this.
Directions
Yeah.
on how to access the statewide electronic book collection. And we have door prizes.
Yay!
Yay! So this time, because of our auspicious day, if your name has is most commonly aligned in letters with the word TWO, then you might win this prize pack, a bag of Skittles with fun size packs for the students or your office. And then some activities that you can do in different ranges. We have for the little ones and the older ones as well. And then we always ask you to give us feedback on our sessions. And we really appreciate your feedback, and we always try to incorporate it into our next sessions and try always to make it a little better each time.
So I'm going to put the feedback into the chat, the form. So could you please fill it out? It's really fast, and your feedback is looked at very carefully, and we try to make each session better based on the feedback from the previous session. And who is the person who has the most letters?
Yeah. Hank put in the chat. Hank has exactly 2 minus 2 equals 0 letters in common with 2.
You know what? I think Steve should get a prize just for that explanation. But he does have a T in his name, which qualifies him as one of the prize pack winners. So Steve, I love your explanation. I like how you connected it to what we did today. Yes. So I'm going to stop the recording now because I think we are
Thank you all for coming
done.
and participating with us.
And if you want to hang out for a little while, feel free to hang out with us. I will stop the recording. Hang on. Stop the recording. There we go. Okay, hang on. Smile. Stop the recording. I will stop the